to save it now.
Hey, Jackie, what phone number should we call you, your cell or your office? Extension 3, okay, because we're going to call on Russo's cell phone since I have a dumb phone, okay? Calling right now. Same number, extension 3.
I only have one bar in my battery, but it's cut off.
He's lying like always. Extension 3.
Hello.
It's Mark.
Oh, Mark. All right, we got Anchorage. We're here with Israel.
Hold on for 1 minute.
Sure.
Give me 1 minute.
Maybe she's at 5.
Who's there?
Okay, this is Rich and Israel and Russo and Feldus and Warner and a couple other guys.
Steve Payne and Jeff Bell, we're the case agents on this.
I'm sorry, it was Bell and who else?
Steve Payne, Jeff Bell, and 3 AUSAs.
Hey. So it's Jackie and Mark, obviously.
Okay.
All right, so at last, I've had some questions about why. Actually, just recently, as a few days ago, found out that there wasn't a hearing or a meeting scheduled with Capital Crimes Unit, and my understanding is that that's your responsibility to set that up and get the ball rolling on that. And it was also my understanding from the very first interview when I started discussing the Koenig case with you, that was part of the condition of me giving you all the information that I gave you, and that I told you, I said, I'll give you any evidence you need. My only priority is, that we keep the media attention to a minimum, and that's been done, and I appreciate that. But I'm a little bit confused at this point as to why I'm hearing now that nothing's being done on the other front. So,
okay, let me address that, Israel, and that we have not been able to.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but since we can't see who's talking, do you mind just saying your name before you start talking?
Sure. This is Kevin.
Hi, Kevin. Sorry.
So, Israel, we can't talk to you about anything related to the Koenig case, and we're happy that we're here today. And just so you know, I'm happy to meet with you and Mr. Kurtner and Jackie and Mark at any time you want to request that. That's up to you and your attorney. You guys decide that, okay?
Right. And I appreciate that. That's been another point of confusion, because I've been asking for this meeting for quite some time, and and through miscommunication or misinformation or a combination of the two, it hasn't happened until now. And now I can see, now that all the cards are on the table, as it were, I can see that it is an option, and I want to keep the lines of communication open on the Koenig case, because that's the case that concerns me the most. Whatever other crimes we discuss, that's secondary, and I've made that clear all along as well. So
right, and we're trying to protect your rights and respect the judge's order, but it's up to you and your attorneys to request a meeting with us. So anytime you want that, you discuss it with your attorneys. We're not involved in that discussion, and you let us know, and we'll be available on short notice. All right. And so I hope that clears that up with you. As far as capital crimes, we've been in constant communication with capital crimes, as I think we told you with Mr. Kurtner at the very beginning. We're in constant communication with them, and they're prepared to act quickly on this.
So they already have information about my case?
Yes.
They have evidence?
Well, they have a lot of information. Let me tell you what has to happen next. We've got you.
Can I interrupt for just a second? And sorry to interrupt, Israel. I just want to clarify one thing. Kevin, you had indicated you guys are in constant communication with the Capital Crimes Unit. And so have they given you a date when they intend to give you an answer, or have you asked them for an answer?
Well, Jack, I'm about to address that, okay?
This is the original agreement that was something that Rich had wanted on the table. This is, I don't know, well, he said it's not immunity, but it's like, yeah, it's saying that they're not going to seek the death penalty. But I already said that's null and void if I talk about this.
Okay.
And that's,
that,
it was made, I was directly told that that's not a binding agreement, and so it's not relevant.
If you don't want us to follow this, we won't follow it. But we need to know that.
No, I'm going to interrupt right now.
Oh, of course I don't want you to follow it. Because I never wanted it in the first place.
But this is not. Who told you it was not binding? Because they've been telling me that they will live up to this. But that's, this is the misinformation we're getting. But we're not here to negotiate. We're not in negotiations. We want to know what the process is.
You told me that piece of paper right there was not something that the Department of Justice had to honor.
No, they have to honor it, not the Department of Justice.
Right. Okay. You have to honor it in your recommendation.
Right.
But that's what I don't want. I don't want that either. I understand that Washington D.C. is the ultimate power, and they don't have to honor any piddly little agreement we come up with on our own. I get that. What my concern is that if you don't endorse death penalty in this case, then there is a good chance that they will not ask for it. And
that's your choice,
right? And that's why I wanted this off the table.
Okay. We haven't been able to talk to you about that. We can only talk to you about that with your counsel. So if you don't want this agreement, then we can proceed that way.
Right? Yeah.
We're not in a position right now, and we're not present. Mark and I would like to be there in person for this meeting. And Israel, I'm sure you can appreciate the benefit.
No, I can't appreciate it because you weren't here when this agreement was made. And this agreement, that you don't know what was said in the meeting that this whole agreement came up. This agreement was something that was drafted against my wishes from the very outset, from the very beginning. And by the time there was the second discussion, the second interview on the Koenig case, I was made to understand that this agreement was not really that relevant. And now it's starting to sound like it is a little more relevant than I was told.
But Israel, this is something...
Israel, I appreciate what you just said, that I wasn't present for that meeting, because you're absolutely right that it was not, because I wasn't appointed as your lawyer yet. But what I'm saying is that Mark and I would like to have this meeting when we're face-to-face with folks, because I'm sure you can appreciate the benefit of seeing people and being able to evaluate the situation. And I think Mark and I are at a distinct disadvantage being on the phone right now, because at first we weren't even sure what you all were talking about until you started talking about the content of what was put in front of our client. So at this point in time, I would ask that we just stop the conversation with regard to that letter so that Mark and I can be present for that.
No.
Feldas, if you want to tell Israel when you expect to have an answer from CCU, that's great. But beyond that,
all right.
Then I think we're in just a situation where we're going to have this meeting in person.
We were in a position to have this meeting in person just a few days ago, and then a week or so before that. It's not the first time. I mean, granted, it's the first time Mark has just recently been appointed as counsel, but you've been up here before, and I requested this meeting quite some time ago. So I'm not going to. I understand that you want to be here for it, but frankly, that opportunity's come and gone. And if this is something that's time sensitive, that they need this off the table now in order to move forward, then I'm not satisfied waiting a week or 2 weeks or whenever the next time you're going to be up here to get it off the table, because that's just more time. I mean, I've already been sitting in jail here for 2 months since the original interview.
Israel, this is Mark. I would like to be there as well, and I realize I'm new to the.
I don't understand what difference it makes whether you're here or not. It's a very simple agreement. It's only a few words on a piece of paper, and it's very clear what my intention is as far as wanting it off the table. So I don't really understand what there is to discuss about it.
I appreciate that. I think the fact here is that they can go to CCU, as you pointed. A letter.
Of course they can. But they can't make a.
They can go to interview without it at any time.
Of course they can, but they cannot make a recommendation because this is a binding agreement for them. Their signatures are on it, and I can understand that they cannot recommend the death penalty for me on a from their personal perspective as long as this agreement exists.